Imagine a world on the brink of chaos. Nations are gearing up for something big, and it's not just a game. Countries like Syria, Sudan, and Ukraine are getting ready for war in 2025. But why now? What's pushing these nations to prepare for conflict? Could this be the start of World War III? And if so, what does it mean for the rest of us? As tensions rise, it's crucial to stay informed. Are you ready to dive into the details and uncover the reasons behind this global shift? Let's explore what's really happening and why it matters. Number 10. Israel. Israel is no stranger to conflict, and in 2025, it's preparing for war on multiple fronts. The Israeli military has drawn up plans for a major ground invasion into Gaza, aiming to fully occupy the territory. This move comes after a year-long shooting war with Hezbollah, which was sparked by an attack on Israel in solidarity with Hamas back in October 2023. Israel's military strategy involves not just Gaza, but also maintaining a strong presence in Lebanon and Syria. In Lebanon, Israel has established military outposts near the border, regularly striking Hezbollah despite a 2006 United Nations Security Council resolution calling for withdrawal. Meanwhile, in Syria, Israel has seized strategic locations like Mount Hermon, capitalizing on the fall of Bashar al-Assad to launch strikes on military infrastructure. These actions are part of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's broader vision to change the face of the Middle East, though critics argue that his approach lacks a coherent grand strategy. Israel's military might is bolstered by significant support from allies like the United States, which provided over $3.8 billion in military aid in 2023 alone. However, this aggressive posture has drawn criticism from countries like Saudi Arabia, whose Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman labeled the war in Gaza as genocide. Despite these challenges, Israel remains resolute in its military objectives, driven by a complex web of regional security concerns and political ambitions. Number 9. Japan. Now let's shift our focus to Japan, a nation with a unique post-war pacifist stance that's slowly evolving in response to regional threats. Japan's involvement in potential conflicts is shaped by its historical context and current geopolitical dynamics. After World War II, Japan adopted Article 9 of its constitution, renouncing war as a means of settling international disputes. However, the rise of regional tensions, particularly with China and North Korea, has prompted Japan to reconsider its defense policies. In 2025, Japan is preparing for war by establishing a new joint command, evacuation plans, and deploying missile units. This shift is partly driven by China's increasing military assertiveness and North Korea's unpredictable behavior. Japan's alliance with the United States remains a cornerstone of its security strategy, providing a counterbalance to regional threats. The two countries have maintained strong political, economic, and military ties since the late 20th century, with the U.S. considering Japan one of its closest allies. Despite these preparations, Japan's ability to declare war is still constrained by its constitutional limitations, making its military strategy more defensive than offensive. Nevertheless, Japan's efforts to bolster its defense capabilities reflect a growing recognition of the need to adapt to an increasingly volatile regional landscape. Before we continue, please like, comment, and subscribe. Number 8. South Korea. All right, let's dive into the fascinating world of global military readiness in 2025, starting with South Korea. Now, South Korea is a powerhouse when it comes to defense, and it's not just about having a strong military, it's about being smart with strategy. In 2025, South Korea ranks among the top 5 global defense powers, which is no small feat. This ranking is a testament to their robust military capabilities and strategic alliances, particularly with the United States and Japan. These partnerships are crucial as they provide South Korea with advanced defense technologies and joint military exercises that keep their forces sharp and ready. But here's the kicker. These exercises often ruffle feathers in the region, especially with China and North Korea, who see them as aggressive moves. It's like playing chess on a global scale, where every move is watched closely by neighbors. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, North Korea. The persistent threat from the North is a major reason why South Korea is always on high alert. North Korea's nuclear weapons program and missile tests are like a never-ending game of brinkmanship. In 2025, reports indicate that North Korea has ramped up both the frequency and sophistication of its missile tests. These aren't just for show. They're strategic moves to gain leverage in diplomatic negotiations and to keep South Korea on its toes. This constant state of readiness places a significant strain on South Korea's resources, forcing them to balance military preparedness with domestic economic priorities. It's a delicate dance of deterrence and diplomacy, ensuring tensions don't escalate into full-blown conflict. But wait, there's more. South Korea's security challenges aren't just about traditional military threats. Cybersecurity is a big deal too. As a technologically advanced nation, South Korea is a prime target for cyber attacks. By 2025, these threats have become more frequent and sophisticated, with North Korea and other non-state actors launching cyber operations aimed at disrupting South Korea's government infrastructure and economic institutions. It's like a digital battlefield where the stakes are incredibly high. To counter these threats, South Korea invests heavily in cyber resilience, incorporating advanced technology and forming strategic alliances with global organizations. It's all about staying one step ahead in this ever-evolving security landscape. Number 7. Turkey. Now, let's shift gears and head over to Turkey. Turkey's strategic location at the crossroads of Europe and Asia makes it a key player in regional security dynamics. In 2025, Turkey is actively preparing for potential conflicts, driven by a mix of regional tensions and internal security concerns. One of the main factors is its proximity to conflict zones in the Middle East, particularly Syria. The ongoing instability in Syria poses a direct threat to Turkey's borders, prompting the country to bolster its military capabilities. Turkey's military is well-equipped and experienced, with a focus on maintaining a strong presence along its southern border to deter any spillover from the Syrian conflict. Turkey's relationship with NATO also plays a significant role in its military preparations. As a NATO member, Turkey benefits from collective defense arrangements and access to advanced military technologies. However, this alliance isn't without its challenges. Turkey's purchase of the Russian S-400 missile defense system in recent years has strained relations with some NATO allies, leading to concerns about interoperability and trust within the alliance. Despite these tensions, Turkey remains committed to its NATO obligations while also pursuing an independent defense policy that aligns with its national interests. It's a balancing act that requires careful navigation of complex geopolitical waters. Internally, Turkey faces its own set of security challenges, particularly from Kurdish separatist groups. The long-standing conflict with the Kurdistan Workers' Party, PKK, continues to be a significant concern for Turkish authorities. In response, Turkey has ramped up its military operations against PKK strongholds, both within its borders and in neighboring Iraq. These operations are part of a broader strategy to ensure national security and stability. Additionally, Turkey is investing in modernizing its military forces, focusing on indigenous defense production to reduce reliance on foreign suppliers. This push for self-sufficiency is a key component of Turkey's long-term defense strategy, ensuring that it remains prepared for any potential threats. Number 6. North Korea. This country has been a focal point of global tension for decades, and 2025 is no different. The Korean People's Army is one of the largest military forces in the world, boasting an impressive array of equipment. We're talking about 4,100 tanks, 2,100 armored personnel carriers, and a staggering 8,500 field artillery pieces. Not to mention their air defense capabilities with 11,000 guns and around 10,000 man-pads and anti-tank guided missiles. It's like they have a military hardware store over there. But it's not just about the numbers, it's about the strategy. In 2024, North Korea shifted its focus to low-intensity provocations against South Korea, while also participating in the Ukraine conflict. This strategic choice seems to be a way to maintain hostility without escalating to full-blown war, but it keeps everyone on edge. Now let's talk about the nuclear aspect. North Korea has been busy developing its tactical nuclear capabilities. In 2024 alone, they conducted 22 tests and training launches of strategic weapons, with a whopping 81% focused on tactical nuclear delivery systems. They've even unveiled new hypersonic medium-range ballistic missiles and solid-fuel ICBMs. However, their attempt to launch a reconnaissance satellite to verify ICBM technology didn't quite go as planned. Despite this hiccup, North Korea's emphasis on operational deployment of tactical nuclear weapons shows they're serious about maintaining a strong defensive posture. And let's not forget their close ties with Russia, which have only strengthened over time. By mid-October 2024, North Korea had become a blood ally of Russia, sending 11,000 troops to support the Ukraine war. This alliance has given them access to advanced weaponry and technologies, making them a formidable force. Finally, there's the political landscape. With the re-inauguration of the Trump administration in 2025, North Korea is expected to ramp up its offensives against both South Korea and the United States. The ROK-US alliance faces challenges in coordinating diplomacy and security under this new leadership. The Trump administration's transactional view of alliances could lead to increased defense cost-sharing demands and potential reductions in U.S. forces Korea. If South Korea doesn't respond decisively, the alliance might struggle to reach critical agreements. So North Korea's actions in 2025 will likely aim to provoke maximum tension, setting the stage for new negotiations. It's a delicate dance of power and politics, and the world is watching closely. Number 5. Iran. Next, we have Iran. a country that's been a central player in Middle Eastern geopolitics for years. Iran's military capabilities are nothing to scoff at, with a well-equipped army and a significant missile arsenal. Their ballistic missile program is one of the most advanced in the region, with missiles capable of reaching targets across the Middle East and beyond. This capability gives Iran a strategic advantage, allowing them to project power and influence throughout the region. In recent years, Iran has also been developing its drone technology, adding another layer to its military prowess. These drones have been used in various conflicts, showcasing Iran's ability to adapt and innovate in modern warfare. Iran's geopolitical ambitions extend beyond its borders, with a network of allies and proxies throughout the Middle East. Groups like Hezbollah in Lebanon and various militias in Iraq and Syria receive support from Iran, allowing them to exert influence and challenge adversaries. This network acts as a force multiplier for Iran, enabling them to engage in asymmetric warfare and maintain a presence in key strategic areas. The ongoing tensions with Israel and Saudi Arabia further complicate the situation, as these regional rivals keep a close eye on Iran's activities. The potential for conflict remains high, with any misstep potentially leading to a broader confrontation. On the international stage, Iran's relationship with the United States has been fraught with tension. The nuclear deal, formerly known as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, JCPOA, has been a point of contention. While efforts have been made to revive the agreement, progress has been slow, and trust between the parties remains fragile. Sanctions continue to impact Iran's economy, adding pressure to an already volatile situation. As 2025 unfolds, Iran's actions will be closely monitored by the international community, with the potential for diplomatic breakthroughs or further escalation. The stakes are high, and the world watches with bated breath to see how this complex geopolitical puzzle will unfold. Number 4. India. India is really stepping up its game when it comes to military preparedness. With a defense budget of 6.81 lakh crore rupees, that's about $78 billion, it's clear that India isn't taking any chances. The country has one of the largest military forces in the world, with over 1.44 million active personnel and a volunteer force of more than 5.1 million. That's a lot of people ready to defend their homeland, and let's not forget about their impressive fleet, which includes 150 warships and submarines, along with aircraft carriers like INS Vikramaditya and INS Vikrant. They're also investing heavily in new vessels and strategic capabilities like nuclear submarines and P-8I maritime reconnaissance aircraft. It's like they're building a fortress at sea. But it's not just about numbers and equipment. India's military strategy is evolving too. They're focusing on modernizing their forces with advanced technology, including unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs, and artificial intelligence. The future of warfare seems to be shifting towards non-contact and information operations, and India is making sure they're ready for that. They're also part of various international coalitions like the Quad and BRICS, which helps them stay connected and informed about global security issues. It's all about being proactive and staying ahead of the curve. And let's not forget about the geopolitical challenges India faces. With tensions on their northern borders and the ongoing threat of cross-border terrorism, India has to be vigilant. They're ranked 4th in the Global Firepower Index for 2025, which shows just how seriously they're taking their defense capabilities. It's like they're saying, "We're ready for anything, so don't mess with us." Number 3. United States. Now, let's talk about the United States, a country that's always been a major player in global military affairs. With the largest defense budget in the world, the U.S. is constantly upgrading its military capabilities. They've got a massive arsenal of advanced weaponry, cutting-edge technology, and a highly trained force that's ready to respond to threats anywhere in the world. It's like they've got a superhero team on standby. The U.S. military is known for its technological prowess, and they're not slowing down. They're investing in next-gen technologies like hypersonic weapons, cyber warfare capabilities, and space-based defense systems. It's all about staying ahead of the game and ensuring they can protect their interests both at home and abroad. And with a focus on innovation, they're always looking for new ways to enhance their military effectiveness. Geopolitically, the U.S. is involved in numerous alliances and partnerships around the world. From NATO to bilateral agreements with countries like Japan and South Korea, they're committed to maintaining global stability. But with rising tensions in regions like Eastern Europe and the South China Sea, the U.S. has to be prepared for any potential conflicts. It's a delicate balancing act, but they're determined to keep the peace while being ready for any challenges that come their way. Number 2. Russia. Russia has been at the center of global attention due to its ongoing conflict with Ukraine. This situation escalated dramatically on February 24, 2022, when Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine, marking the largest conflict in Europe since World War II. The reasons behind this invasion are deeply rooted in historical tensions and geopolitical ambitions. Russian President Vladimir Putin has expressed irredentist and imperialist views, challenging Ukraine's legitimacy as a state. He baselessly claimed that the Ukrainian government was committing genocide against the Russian minority in the Donbass region and stated that Russia's goal was to demilitarize and denazify Ukraine. As of 2025, Russian troops occupy about 20% of Ukraine, and the conflict has resulted in significant military and civilian casualties. Over 46,000 Ukrainian military personnel have been killed, and 380,000 wounded, while Russia has suffered substantial losses as well, with estimates suggesting up to 140,000 Russian soldiers have died by mid-2024. Economically, the war has taken a heavy toll on Russia. The country's GDP contracted by 2.1% in 2022, although it saw a rebound with a 3.6% growth in 2023. However, the financial burden of the war is immense, with direct costs exceeding $450 billion. To finance these expenses, Russia has employed a two-pronged strategy, involving both official defense budgets and off-budget financing mechanisms. The latter includes over $200 billion in debt funding obtained from preferential bank loans to defense contractors and war-related businesses. Additionally, international sanctions have further strained Russia's economy. The Group of Seven, G7, placed a price cap on Russian oil, and several countries, including the United States and European Union, have imposed embargoes on Russian oil products. These economic challenges, coupled with the ongoing conflict, have left Russia in a precarious position on the global stage. On the military front, Russia remains a formidable force, boasting the world's fifth-largest military with about 1 million active-duty personnel and close to 2 million reservists. Despite facing stiff resistance from Ukrainian forces, Russia continues to prepare for intensified operations. Reports indicate that Russian forces are planning new offensive operations in regions such as Sumy, Kharkiv, and Zaporizhia oblasts. The Kremlin's strategy appears to be focused on maximizing pressure on Ukraine and increasing leverage in ceasefire negotiations. However, despite these efforts, Russian forces have yet to make tactically significant advances, and localized Ukrainian counterattacks continue to challenge their progress. The situation remains fluid, with both sides engaged in a high-stakes battle for control and influence in the region. Number 1. China. Now let's shift our focus to China, another major player on the global stage. While not currently engaged in an active war, China's military preparations and strategic maneuvers have raised eyebrows worldwide. The country has been rapidly modernizing its military capabilities, with a particular emphasis on expanding its naval power. This expansion is part of China's broader strategy to assert its influence in the Asia-Pacific region, particularly in the South China Sea, where territorial disputes with neighboring countries have been a long-standing issue. China's claims over the majority of the South China Sea have led to tensions with countries like Vietnam, the Philippines, and Malaysia, all of whom have competing claims in the region. China's military buildup is not limited to its navy. The country has also been investing heavily in advanced technologies, including cyber warfare capabilities, artificial intelligence, and missile systems. These developments are seen as part of China's strategy to counterbalance the influence of the United States and its allies in the region. The Chinese government has been vocal about its intentions to reunify Taiwan with the mainland, a move that has been met with strong opposition from Taiwan and concern from the international community. The potential for conflict over Taiwan remains a significant flashpoint, with both sides engaging in military exercises and posturing to demonstrate their readiness for any eventuality. Economically, China continues to be a powerhouse, with its GDP growth remaining robust despite global challenges. However, the country's aggressive stance in the South China Sea and its military modernization efforts have led to increased scrutiny and tension with other nations. The United States in particular has been closely monitoring China's activities, leading to a complex web of diplomatic and military interactions. As China continues to expand its influence and capabilities, the world watches closely, aware that any misstep could have far-reaching consequences. If you enjoyed this video, let us know in the comment section down below, and turn on your notifications to know when next we upload. See you in our next video.